If you found yourself constantly saying yes to please the person who scapegoated you, to avoid their anger, gain tiny moments of approval, or just keep the peace, you're not alone. Maybe you're exhausted from always anticipating someone else's needs while your own get pushed aside. Maybe you catch yourself over-apologizing for things that aren't even your fault, or staying quiet when you desperately want to speak up. If this sounds familiar, there's a reason for it, and it's not because you're weak or broken. Welcome back to the Narcissistic Abuse Recovery Podcast. I'm Lynn, your host. Today, we're talking about why scapegoats often become people pleasers, and why this pattern makes complete sense when you understand the dynamics at play.
This episode is brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Do you ever find yourself playing the budgeting game? Well, with the Name Your Price tool from Progressive, you can find options that fit your budget and potentially lower your bills. Try it at Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Price and coverage match limited by state law. Not available in all states.
Why choose a Sleep Number smart bed?
Can I make my site softer?
Can I make my site firmer?
Can we sleep cooler?
Sleep Number does that. Cools up to 8 times faster and lets you choose your ideal comfort on either side. Your Sleep Number setting. J.D. Power ranks Sleep Number #1 in customer satisfaction with mattresses purchased in-store and online. And now, the more you buy, the more you save on beds, bases, and more. Limited time. For J.D. Power 2025 award information, visit jdpower.com/awards. Check it out at the Sleep Number store or sleepnumber.com today.
Protein is now at Starbucks, and it's never tasted so good. Try our all-new caramel protein lattes with up to 31 grams of protein and options with no added sugar.
Level up, level up, level up, level up, level up.
Level up your drink at Starbucks.
This people-pleasing behavior is incredibly common among scapegoats because it's a survival strategy that develops early and gets reinforced over time. When you're regularly blamed, criticized, or dismissed by someone in a position of power, your nervous system learns to stay hypervigilant. You start anticipating their needs, walking on eggshells, and prioritizing their emotions above your own safety and truth. The key here is understanding that narcissistic family systems and relationships need a scapegoat to absorb all the fault without pushback. The person avoiding accountability requires someone to blame for their problems, their feelings, and their failures. And people-pleasing behavior from the scapegoat helps maintain this toxic dynamic because it delays or deflects the inevitable blame, at least temporarily. Here's what happens. When you're constantly told you're the problem, your brain starts working overtime to figure out how to not be the problem. You might have found yourself trying harder to do things perfectly, bending over backward to avoid triggering someone's rage, or constantly monitoring the emotional temperature of the room so you could adjust accordingly. In adult relationships, this shows up as constantly deferring to your partner's opinions, even when they contradict your own values. You might suppress your needs, over-apologize for existing, or exhaust yourself trying to keep peace even when you're hurting. You become the relationship manager, the emotional caretaker, the one who's always responsible for making sure everyone else feels okay. Sometimes other family members or friends join this pattern by siding with the person who's avoiding accountability. They might pressure you to just go along or not rock the boat, which makes you scramble even harder to meet impossible expectations just to be seen as not the problem. You might have experienced constantly second-guessing yourself before speaking up about anything. Maybe you found yourself saying, "I'm sorry," before stating basic needs or preferences. Perhaps you noticed you could read someone's mood from across the room and automatically shifted your behavior to accommodate whatever emotional state they were in. The exhausting thing about people-pleasing as a scapegoat is that it never actually works long-term. No matter how perfectly you anticipate needs, how carefully you manage your words, or how much you sacrifice your own truth, the blame still comes. Because the system requires someone to fault, and that someone is you. But here's what's crucial to understand. Your people-pleasing wasn't about being weak, codependent, or manipulative. It was about survival within a system specifically designed to keep you undermined and silenced. You adapted logically to maintain safety in an environment that was fundamentally unsafe for you. Your nervous system learned that conflict meant danger, that someone's displeasure could lead to rejection or punishment, and that your job was to manage other people's emotions to prevent those consequences. These were smart adaptations to a situation where you had very little actual power or protection. The person who scapegoated you needed you to prioritize their feelings above your own reality. They needed you to absorb their projections, take responsibility for their emotions, and never challenge their version of events. People-pleasing behavior supports all of these dynamics perfectly. You weren't choosing to lose yourself because you enjoyed it or because you deserved the blame. You were doing what felt necessary to survive in a relationship or family system where your actual needs, feelings, and perspectives were consistently dismissed or punished. The reality is this: you developed people-pleasing tendencies because someone in your life required you to be responsible for their emotional regulation while simultaneously blaming you when they couldn't regulate themselves. You learned to scan for disapproval, anticipate criticism, and work harder to earn basic respect that should have been freely given. Understanding this pattern doesn't excuse the treatment you received, and it doesn't mean you have to stay stuck in these behaviors, but it does help explain why someone who should have been protecting and validating you instead trained you to prioritize everyone else's comfort above your own truth. You weren't the problem then, and you're not the problem now. You were responding to an impossible situation with intelligence and creativity, even though the cost was enormous. So here's something to reflect on. In what ways have you prioritized someone else's needs or emotions over your own to avoid conflict or blame? And how might understanding this pattern change how you see your actions? This is Lynn, and this has been another episode of the Narcissistic Abuse Recovery Podcast. I'll see you in the next one. Visit our website at movingforwardafterabuse.com for articles, resources, and more support on your recovery journey.
This episode is brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Fiscally responsible, financial geniuses, monetary magicians. These are things people say about drivers who switch their car insurance to Progressive and save hundreds. Because Progressive offers discounts for paying in full, owning a home, and more. Plus, you can count on their great customer service to help you when you need it, so your dollar goes a long way. Visit Progressive.com to see if you could save on car insurance. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Potential savings will vary. Not available in all states or situations.
Why choose a Sleep Number smart bed?
Can I make my site softer?
Can I make my site firmer?
Can we sleep cooler?
Sleep Number does that. Cools up to 8 times faster and lets you choose your ideal comfort on either side. Your Sleep Number setting. JD Power ranks Sleep Number #1 in customer satisfaction with mattresses purchased in-store and online. And now, the more you buy, the more you save on beds, bases, and more. Limited time. For JD Power 2025 award information, visit jdpower.com/awards. Check it out at the Sleep Number store or sleepnumber.com today.
Amazon Pharmacy presents Painful Thoughts.
20 more minutes to kill in the pharmacy before my prescription is ready. Maybe I'll grab some deeply discounted out-of-season Halloween candy. I never had a chocolate pumpkin with raisins before. Those were raisins, right?
Next time, use Amazon Pharmacy. We deliver. And no, those were not raisins. Amazon Pharmacy. Healthcare just got less painful.